Hey everyone, welcome back to a very special edition of the Coffee and Cannoli podcast on a Wednesday night. We are back once again, this time again with Muscles Marinara over to my right, Campo right below me, and Putty Seth freaking Rollins right below Muscles. WrestleMania, it's a 2-night event, so I thought, hey, 2-night event of the Coffee and Cannoli podcast, and we're going to review night 2 of WrestleMania 38 it was, I think, this year, but They don't number it anymore. They just call it WrestleMania. Night 1, we all agreed. Yeah, they don't number it anymore. Caps is looking confused. Yeah,
I totally didn't see that.
Night 1 was a very good night. We all go back and watch that episode. We all gave it a pretty high review. It was a decent match. It's definitely worth to go watch, especially for the Cody and Seth match.
100%. The whole night was worth a watch.
Yeah, the whole show is worth a watch. This one was a little... But we'll get into that as we go. So this match we'll start off. We're going right into the first match. And the thing is, the first match didn't even start until 40 minutes into the show.
Was it that long?
Yes.
Yeah, we actually skipped promos a lot during the show.
The promos, the recap, the singing of America the Beautiful that seemed to last 20 minutes.
By the way, on night 1, I'm sorry for anybody from Dallas. When they started doing whatever they were doing, because I could barely hear it, was cutting out, I kept yelling to Putty, I'm like, skip this hillbilly garbage. But night 2, the first thing, as soon as she started singing, Putty's like, skip.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, the prior night we were out there from the beginning.
We were live on the first night.
The second night, John was still at work, so when he got there, we literally were already an hour into it, and I paused it.
Which, thank God.
Yeah, we just enjoyed together. So I paused it, and literally when it was like 9 o'clock, we started it. So we were able to skip through the promos. But this is how bad the promos are.
You already caught up within 30 minutes.
But no, you don't get it, because this is how bad the promos were. The promos were so bad that even by the end of the show, skipping every single promo, we still did not get to the live point watching a match. That's how long the promos for this night were. It was like they were longer than 1 hour. That's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's kick
on
this
a 4-hour show. Well,
it's all about the game. And
yes, Triple H enters the ring. Basically, thank you. They show him hugging his kids, and I gotta say, his oldest daughter is literally, that app where you put two faces and make it look like one. That's the kid. It's Triple H and Stephanie if you push their faces together and make one face.
It was kind of cool, but nothing really happened. It was a really long intro.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Triple H fan, but I mean, just generally as I'm not even a wrestling fan, really. Just generally as a fan of things from the past, it was kind of cool. It was a cool moment, but it was mostly him. Spinning. 99% of it was him walking out, and then 1% of it was the rest of it.
Yeah, it was a very short speech. I don't think he wanted to take away from.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, and and as tradition is with people, when wrestlers retire, you leave your boots in the ring, and that's basically what Triple H did. So, go ahead.
With Triple H, man, I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad.
Yeah, because dude's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he looked like it too. He looked like he went through one heck of a battle. I know it was a scary thing with what he went through.
Yeah, considering a few weeks ago we lost one of our favorites.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I was never a fan. I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is. Sorry.
As a wrestler, I don't think I always used to hate the fact that it was always about him. It was always trying to put the focus on him without putting anybody over. As a promoter, though, he knew the business.
Yeah. Oh no, he's probably.
I think as a character, he was good.
By then, I think he was trying to right every wrong he did back in the day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, according to a lot of people, he was a dick back then.
Yeah, and, never put anybody over. What though? That's also Shawn Michaels chirping in his ear, because Shawn Michaels was always like that too. Personally, but good luck, Triple H, in your future endeavors.
With AEW.
With AEW.
ROH.
You know what? I wouldn't be so shocked if Vince does sell the company and the company goes public and Triple H is basically out of a position. I wouldn't be too shocked. Regal's already there. But first match is RK Bro against the Street Profits against Alpha Academy. which is Chad Gable and that bulldozer guy.
Ooh, me and Putty are gonna have some fun right now.
I can't fucking watch Arcade, bro. I can't.
This was a
way-
better opening match than the first night.
The way that Nick feels about Triple H is how I feel about Randy Orton. I cannot stand him. I think he's completely overrated. He, as a character, he sucks. I don't understand the appeal of it at all. In this match,
he hears voices.
Yeah, Matt Riddle is super hyped, always, and this match, everyone else carried him.
Yeah,
So this was like a botch fest, number one.
But the thing is, the one true tag team in this match that actually work as a tag team, I think should have gone over, which was the Street Profits.
Okay, number one, they look stupid as hell. Number two, that's the worst name I've ever heard. But they are fantastic in the ring.
They want the smoke.
I think some of the spots here, there was a few spots that were fantastic.
Montez Ford is super athletic. When he did that dive over the corner and into the crowd, like not into the crowd, but into the other group that was.
Putty would like to point something out at this moment.
He landed on his feet.
Yes. Did you also notice the botch right before that where he was waiting for someone to throw him into the corner and nobody was there? He kept backing up and looking and then backing up and looking. And then he was like, okay, I'll throw myself into it.
Yeah,
and he ran into it.
I rewinded because John actually missed. I said, John, because John recognized the botch earlier. And I was like, okay, John, if you think that's a botch, watch this. And I literally had to rewind to that point to show him. And see, with this match, here's the thing. My introduction back in WWE actually is through 2K22, which is funny. They're advertising it, and I got introduced back through the video game. I always go to the video game and create a wrestler. Okay, I create a wrestler, and I was using the intro music for Riddle because it looked like it was one of those basic intros you would use for your custom wrestlers. Then I start wrestling and going through the list of wrestlers. I'm like, wait, this is a real wrestler? So then I watch tonight, and I'm like, okay, I finally get to see this Riddle guy, and I see him, and the first thing I think is Pull Boy. And mixed with a skateboarder, okay?
Putty was very furious for this whole match.
Thinks he's Rob Van Dam.
Yes, and then I said, "Oh, this is WWE." and then I said, "Oh, so this is probably WWE's version of Jungle Boy." Okay, I get it now.
Putty was furious at the fact that he had no shoes on. It became a whole issue where he didn't want to look at the screen. He's like, "I don't like this."
When he jumps and he throws the flip flops in the air.
Who is this guy? Von Erich?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But yeah, the other botch was when they did the double choke out where the guys were hanging in the ropes. So Riddle threw the guy out, and he threw the guy so hard that he almost went all the way out. So the guy had to stop, grab on the rope,
pull himself back in.
Stopped. He hesitated, and then he put his head under the rope for him. I was like, "This is embarrassing, man." But I have to admit, it was better than the start of the other night, and there were a few spots that were fantastic in this match.
Like I said, Montez Ford jumping over the corner, and then right after that, Gable doing that moonsault off the turnbuckle.
The ending when they were all drinking in the ring together. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The only thing that annoys me is Gable the shush.
That's so
that's annoying as hell.
But they're trying to get that over.
He's a pretty good. He's a hell of an athlete too.
Oh, he is 100%.
Everyone in this match was pretty decent. Matt Riddle he has the raw skill, but it's like they need to carry him. He makes a lot of mistakes.
But that's the thing too. Riddle, I don't know if he ever was in the UFC, but he too was another UFC type
I think
fighter.
He was in the UFC.
Yeah. So
I had no idea. All I know is when I first saw him, it's like there's something I don't like about him, and now especially since
it really got to Putty. It really got to him.
I did not like
ever since Putty
about that.
Ever since Putty became a fan of Jungle Boy, everything's going to be compared to Jungle Boy now.
No, but he does seem like a Jungle Boy knockoff.
I didn't see the Jungle Boy thing till later. You can ask John. The whole time I was complaining that he looked like a Pull Boy mixed with a skateboarder.
He's a burnout. That's basically his character. He's a burnout. He rides a scooter and goes, bro.
Mid-level match.
I know why he doesn't like Riddle. It's because he badmouthed Goldberg.
Did he really?
But he doesn't even know about that. Why would you talk about Goldberg?
Don't even bring that up.
You opened up a can.
You just opened up a can.
Oh yeah, they had a huge Twitter feud last year.
Well, guess
Huge
what?
There's a clip out there that they got into. It was pretty tense between those.
Yeah. If it were a legit fight, Riddle would take him down.
And see, here's the thing, John. I mean, Cap. Here's the thing. I actually had fuel already to the fire for Riddle. Now you just basically made it to where I want to like throw him across the room.
Well,
Oh,
let's
no,
just say
it's
thank God Goldberg wasn't on this show.
Straight up, man. I was never a fan of Riddle. I can't watch him. I can't, because as soon as
It's like watching those burnout kids you used to hate in high school.
this guy's trying to like act like Rob Van Dam too much, and I love Rob Van Dam.
Listen,
It's just
the only person that plays a perfect burnout is Orange Cassidy, who just doesn't care about anything. He just wants to kick you in the shin and take a nap. So I'm ready for this next match, because I want to talk about the opening hype package for this. Was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I had zero hype. You had Bobby Lashley versus Almost.
Almost.
And
Edward James Almost.
wrestler that we were calling him that the whole night. We're like, almost a wrestler.
It's almost like almost a superhero.
Bobby Lashley reminds me of like the living version of Matt Damon from Team America, like Bobby Lashley.
And then visually, we even brought it up, and I think people can agree with me. He looks like someone that has a muscle shirt on that's wearing those like baby masks that's crying. He looks like
he looks like a human Pokemon that can only just say his name.
He looks like Matt Champ.
Yeah. And I don't care. He's been in wrestling. He's not as bad as he used to be, because I remember his TNA days. He was awful. But
his first run in WWE was bad too.
Yeah, I don't like what he does. And a big thing here is for a guy that maybe like 3 months ago was so over and he was the champion and they were pushing him to the limits. He got a less than mid-card match at WrestleMania against a guy that literally can't fight.
At least he went over.
This match was horrible. This is the worst match I've seen in a long time.
This was the worst match of both nights.
Maybe just in general of watching wrestling since I started watching again, this was disgusting.
We made so many jokes.
This is what I'm convinced of, and I told Putty this. Someone calls the phone, okay? Secretary answers, "Hi, WWE. Hi, I'm 7'5". Okay, you got the job.
You're hired.
Can you wrestle? No, doesn't matter.
It's this almost there is Great Khali-esque.
That's what he said.
That's exactly what
he said.
I think
just a big dude who can't wrestle. He's going to be in some Adam Sandler movie about a remake.
Up until now, he has not been beaten, but I think tonight, the WrestleMania was the first night I think they legitimately kind of gave up on him, because I think it's just not going to work.
He was dragging AJ Styles for a year. For a year, he was dragging AJ Styles down.
Yeah, like all he had, like AJ Styles did the brunt of the work.
Yeah.
And what's his, is it almost
or
Almost?
OMOS.
It's almost.
OMOS, almost.
He just comes in, does the power stuff, and then that's it. But that was going to be the worst friggin' spear I've ever seen.
Yeah, like this is as bad as like you said, Great Khali, as bad as Giant Gonzalez.
Whoa. He's not that bad.
But that's my whole point, though.
El Gigante.
You have all these big guys that you always want to bring in to be power, and the thing is even with power, you have to have some kind of visual aspect. And Great Khali was a prime example, and almost as well as the same way, where they're bringing in these big guys that want to be power, but they don't know. They don't.
Okay, but at least Almost can walk. Great Khali couldn't walk.
Well, yeah, he's taller than Almost. I mean, that guy was huge, but that's the same thing.
I'm sure the billing for WWE Almost is like 9 feet tall.
No, they advertised him as 7'8" or something like that.
Well, he's 450 pounds.
Apparently.
Him.
Yeah.
But I think, to me, this match, the only like takeaway that's good out of this really is that Bobby Lashley came back and he beat
because they thought his career was done with that concussion.
He beat a guy that was undefeated, and it looked good for him and put him over. And at the same time, you kind of brush aside this other guy. So you have two options here with Almost. You either completely get rid of him and make him like a jobber, or you let him win a bunch of matches in a row now to get his thing back going.
Yeah, and then get his revenge.
Yeah.
He comes back pissed off and like
you've awakened the angry giant.
I don't think the story that could come out of this is bad, but the general match was like, what am I watching?
I think Almost is going the same route as Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
Braun Strowman came in as this monster that
he was good.
Yes, but they never went anywhere with him. So when
That's
they
true.
finally pulled the trigger and put the title on him, nobody cared.
It was
But,
too late.
Yeah, it was too
Too
late by
late.
that point.
At this is the point I'm gonna really admit it, and we did have little moments of comeback as the night went on, but this is the moment for me at least when wrestling fatigue hit, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. After
I had to
these two
watch it. I
matches-
had to watch it in two parts. I watched part of it Sunday, and I watched the rest on Monday afternoon. I finished work at 2:00 in the afternoon, and I watched the second half of the show from there.
Well, let's put it this way. I had a lot of burnout myself. You can ask John. I had a lot of burnout, but I tried to muscle through it and actually just get through what I like and everything. John, I kept on making jokes more this night than the last night because
we
you can
didn't
ask
pay
John.
attention much.
Yeah, you can ask John.
it was
I kept
not
on joking with him about his baseball cards and everything. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, it was not a good ending. Like
Hey, I'll take
it suffers what a lot of, like, say for example, to put it in movie terms, sometimes the sequel isn't as good as the original.
Yeah.
And I
the
think
first night, and this is what a lot of the YouTube channels were saying too. The first night was so good that there's no way night 2 was going to live up to it.
Yeah,
There's no way.
they basically blew their load on the first night and
Yeah.
shit the bed on the second.
Yeah, they made a mess.
The less we say about this match, the better. Up next, Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn.
Okay. So this one I want to take over. Can you guys, John? I was excited about this the whole night. All right.
Okay.
And because it was one of those matches where I felt like it was just gonna be a fun ride, even though it was gimmicky. I felt
Well, that's the thing.
Ride.
Sorry to interrupt, but like Johnny Knoxville is a glorified stuntman, so I want to see him take all the hits.
Yes.
But it wasn't him taking the hits in this match. It was Sami.
But see, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You can ask John. I was making jokes, and I knew this thing was going to be a joke. And he even called like Wee Man coming up from the bottom. All those. Yeah, he called that. And the thing is,
Hornswoggle.
Yeah. And see, the thing is like we were expecting that. But here's my thing. I was excited because of, just like you said, because he does so many stunts. I was like, oh, we're going to see some really stuff, cattle prodding, picture. A lot of stuff we actually didn't see that they could have used that he's done in his past. But what made it fun, it went from fun match straight to, oh, come on, this is getting absurd now. Because when they got to the end of the match,
when the boot didn't work.
Yeah, see, the boot was when I started thinking this is starting to go downhill. Because I was excited about the boot, but then they kind of waited. Like the anticipation was lost after a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one of those things like they should have done it then and paid it off then, but it waited too long, and then when it happened, it wasn't that big of a payoff. And then
that kick Wee Man took to the face, though.
I will say that was good. Yeah,
he was the best one.
Yeah, exactly. Wee Man picking up that guy was amazing. But the one, Wee
Man body slammed Sami Zayn.
Exactly. But the problem is when they brought in that giant mousetrap, one, it didn't go off properly. Two, it did not feel realistic as far as like when he was trapped underneath it. I mean, like I'm looking at like, dude, there's a 5-year-old that can get out of that bitch. Come on now. And
Okay,
it went too absurd.
It took your immersion out of it.
But this is the thing: the match was dumb as hell, but it was fun and it was way better than it had any right being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
It did.
Exactly.
Like by the end of the match, we didn't even care about all the flubs. We were just having a good time. We were like,
it was fun. It was a fun. They even brought that giant hand out, right?
Yeah.
There was this match had no right being as fun and good as it was.
And this goes back to what Cap said last night too, about the fact that when your celebrities are outshining the actual talent, there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Logan Paul did a triple vertical suplex. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And again, the same thing with Johnny Knoxville. He's an old guy too, and I mean, he's pulling off stuff in there that a lot of these younger wrestlers should be doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah, and because he's what 50, 51 Knoxville now. He's got to be somewhere in that.
A lot of
he's
these
50.
Like, yeah, and see, the thing is my point is Johnny Knoxville said himself, he's like he's getting too old for it. That's why I feel like Doug, come in WWE, because we were even talking about it like. Even though it was really enjoyable, there's a lot of times I'm sitting there going, "Oh, but it's such a watered down version of Jackass." It's so.
But
that's what it was.
We got Dark Shark.
Yes, Dark Shark.
The worst person in the whole Jackass Forever movie.
The thing is, too, though, after they brought out that giant mechanical hand, Michael Cole. Oh, we need to give Sami Zayn a hand. We need to give Sami Zayn, and he kept repeating that stupid joke over and over again.
Hey,
because Vince McMahon was in his ear telling him that.
Tell them about the hand. They could see it, you idiot. Tell them about the hand.
It only happened one time too, and they had to like what the heck?
There was
Okay,
a few times where I fully like I never thought about it, but now that you're saying it, where they're like Vince McMahon was totally like, tell them this is happening. He's like, they can see that is happening.
Yeah.
She's wearing a boot. Yeah, no kidding. She's wearing 2 boots, you idiot.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, but you're right though. This was probably. It wasn't match of the night, but you're right, though. It's probably a better match than it had any right to be. It was fun. It didn't, like, at that point, I just didn't care who won or what happened. I was just having fun with it.
I was like, okay, this is a nice turn of events from what we've had so far.
Yeah.
Even though
it was a good palate cleanser from the Bobby Lashley.
Yes, this was like climbing a mountain for the next match when we would jump off and kill ourselves.
The 4-way women's tag match. So Knoxville, believe it or not, actually went over. He won. Celebrated with the Jackass crew. Then we had the women's 4-way tag team match with Sasha, Naomi, Queen Zelina, and Carmella.
Do you have
or should I call her Leatherface?
Leatherface.
Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan and Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
So Putty, do you want me to read
call them
your
the
note?
deck. I call them the deck of cards, Natalya, because you got the Queen of Hearts and the Queen of Spades.
I was actually going to say it, but John, go ahead and say it. Yes.
So Putty's main note, and he made me write this down. He said, way too much choreography.
Yes.
They literally all stopped and waited for things to happen.
Oh, what are we supposed to do now? Kind of thing.
It was crazy, and Rhea Ripley got no time to do anything, and she's the best one of all of them.
And see, the funny thing is, like, a lot of these female wrestlers I didn't know.
I could have watched a good, pure wrestling match between Natalya and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. The only wrestler I actually knew was Sasha Banks, and I like Sasha Banks, not
the
really
Mandalorian.
Wrestling. Yeah, but here's my thing. There's a reason why I actually was like all excited about it, because as soon as they came in the ring, I wasn't paying attention, and I was like, wait a second, they're both wearing blue and green. That's my G-Pop colors. Oh my god, they're wearing my colors. Like I was more excited about.
Oh, this is the note colors. You wanted me to read.
Yeah, that was the G-Pop colors, because they were really wearing blue and green, which is my, like, for people that know my channel, that's the colors I rock all the time and everything. So to see the one wrestling character I knew, Sasha Banks, that I liked. And of course, later on, there are wrestlers, like you can ask John. John's mad that I'm actually like really into one of the wrestlers he likes. And so I was like, what's her name?
Liv Morgan.
Yeah, Liv Morgan. I like
back off.
Yeah, see, exactly. Like when I saw her, I was like, "Oh wait, no, this is Catwoman." Hold up, I'm kind of like you.
And what's his name? Corey Graves called her Donnie Darko.
Yeah, that was good. They're like why is she dressed as Catwoman? It's Batman. Batman's popular right now.
But that's my whole point.
Well, I don't care.
Outside of the outfits, outside of the colors, outside of all those and everything, when it comes to the show, that was literally the only thing that interests me. Seeing the visuals for that 1 second of the intros was what made me go, I'm gonna love this. And then as soon as the match started, I was
these
like,
intros were fun.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. When they did the two things when the top rope, like when that happened and I saw that, I was like, this is not how wrestling. Like if you're
what did I immediately say? I'm like, how did somebody pull down 3 women with one arm and one arm? You did that? No, come on.
I'm gonna say just based on superhero, because I love superheroes. Let's go ahead and say that's real. Even though even the 5-year-olds in the audience are going, that's not real.
Right.
But for both of them to be choreographed in a ballet at the same time, like they were synchronized swimming.
Shit. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was.
I don't know. Nothing about this match. Nothing about this match at all felt authentic.
No, like you said, it suffers from what every women's WWE match is. Like, where can we fit all these women in the match? Well, let's put them all in a tag match.
But in comparison to like the intensity of the matches on the night one, the 2 women's matches, this was like an embarrassment. And not to mention, you have Liv Morgan, who you're trying to put over. You have Rhea Ripley,
who had a great match against Becky Lynch.
Yes,
like amazing match against Becky Lynch.
You have 3 great wrestlers right there. Plus, you have Sasha Banks. But you're spending all this time trying to put over her stupid ass partner who nobody cares about, Sasha Banks. And then you have Carmella, that's her name. Yeah. The worst wrestler I've ever seen in my life. Why are you here?
Because Corey Graves is engaged to her.
Yeah, he
cheated on his wife for her.
And then Selena Vega sucks. I don't know why she's so popular. I know she's really popular, but I don't get it.
I think it's more of her, Selena Vega. I think it's more the cosplay aspect that she does.
Wait, is Selena Vega the one that's wearing the white mask?
No, that's Carmella.
Okay,
That's
okay.
leather. Carmella's Leatherface.
Well, no, I was making a joke because you see Leatherface, but I kept on, you can ask John, I kept on saying she's only wearing the mask so she can be like a Vega from Street Fighter, where she doesn't get a scar on her face. And I guarantee you, I predicted last night.
No, that's
John,
exactly it. That's the whole gimmick.
Yeah.
She's
And
the most beautiful wrestler in the world, so she has to wear the mask to protect her
I'm
face.
predicting it right now. It's going to happen. I'm not even saying that it might happen. It's going to happen. She's going to get some kind of scar on her face.
Putty already said they're going to throw something in her face and it's going to like deform her. And
She's going to look like what's her name from Batman '89 when he threw the acid in her.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. When he has a little squeezy.
Yeah, it's would you like a little whiff of my posy?
Honestly, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah. Sasha Banks and Naomi go over. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't care. The women's tag team titles mean nothing.
Sasha Banks without a title is like Becky Lynch without a title. You have to give them a title.
Yeah, you'll lose interest.
They don't have to earn it. They just have to have it.
Yeah, it's like Charlotte without the title.
Yeah,
nobody cares about Charlotte without the title.
Exactly.
The less said about this, the better. Not as bad as the Bobby Lashley match, but it's up there.
Yep. I would say, okay, you know what? It's not worse. There's nothing as bad as that Bobby Lashley match.
Then probably one of the better matches of the night, I think, was Edge versus AJ Styles. Yeah. I really enjoyed this match.
My biggest I don't think it was
a finish.
It should have been a much better match.
I hate the finish. It would have been a better match. I would have given this a good rating if the finish wasn't as
if Dildo
shitty as it was.
Didn't come out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
S&M Priest there.
Yeah, me and Putty both had a couple issues there, but I think as good as the match was, it's probably like the second best match of the whole thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Not a lot to choose from though.
It started off really slow and boring.
Yeah,
and it got really technical though, and I really appreciate it.
But that's Edge though. Those are Edge matches. Edge, there's always that build up. They'll start slow, and then
to me, this wasn't as good, but it had all the elements of Adam Cole versus Hangman. It was very technical. It was well thought out.
It was a good wrestling match.
All of the spots were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, me and Putty have an issue.
These are the two. I mean, you don't get any more professional than Edge and AJ.
But this is me and Putty's issue, and I want an explanation. Mm-hmm. What does his finisher do?
Who?
Does it slam your feet against the ground really hard and you get hurt?
Your chest.
But your chest is in between his legs where there's no weight on them.
I don't know. It's if anything, AJ's finisher, I prefer the calf crusher, the one he the one he put. I prefer that as a finisher than
I agree
because that looks like it hurts.
When he has him set up for that, Edge has to put his hands down.
I don't know. Maybe he crushes his dick or something.
I don't know. It's a really bad finisher, and I don't want to see it anymore.
The Styles Clash?
Yeah.
Hey, he's paralyzed a couple people with that move.
What's his name? The guy Taka Michinoku, who almost killed Taka Michinoku with that.
But this is because of botched moves. If you just did this,
with the Styles Clash, you're supposed to tuck your head back instead of forward.
Yeah.
And what Taka did was he pulled it forward, and
so all the weight went down on him.
Yeah,
I see that. But I mean, I expected way more spectacle from this match. I thought tables were coming out. I thought I was expecting a solo.
And
concerto.
What's funny is last WrestleMania, the Edge versus Orton match, they were advertising as the greatest wrestling match ever. But this was a better wrestling match.
Yeah, this was a solid match. And this is for Putty. I'm going to say it because I feel like Putty wanted everyone to know that this match was very edgy yet stylish.
Yes, yes.
My God,
it was.
That's a dad joke.
And I will say this though,
he got me so good with it though. He was climbing up on the top rope. He's like, "Wow, that's so edgy and stylish." I was like, "Oh my God."
But the thing I kept on saying that John got so annoyed by was that I kept on saying that AJ Styles looks like the lead singer of a cover band for Creed. Or Nickelback. Or
What's funny is Edge's old theme song was done by former members of Creed Alter Bridge.
Which is sad, but we have to say this. Edge looks like the drummer from Foo Fighters.
He totally looks like Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins. Yeah, hey, Putty called that. He's like, wait.
He's back from the dead.
Putty's like, he looks like him.
Well, the reason that came up is because you can ask John. I probably did so many.
Putty went through so many what this guy looks like. And it got like crazy.
That was the game of the night because the wrestling was so horrible.
To me, he looks like Snoop Dogg with a perm. And it just, I can't unsee how smooth his hair is, and I don't like it. The look is
Who's
really
this?
bad. It's a bad look, guy. Figure it
Who?
out.
Which one? AJ?
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, yeah.
That's the soccer mom haircut, the Karen haircut.
And I'm really mad. Well, I'll tell you what I have a prediction coming in. I'm sure you're going to agree with me. But I was really just wanted to hear it. You think you know me. I don't want to hear the stupid new song. I don't like this Brood, but guess what? I understand the whole Damon Priest thing or whatever his name is. They're going to start the new Brood. It's going to be called the new Brood.
Yep.
And
Christian
is going to come back.
No, I think Alexa's going to be part of that group.
You think so? I heard a lot of rumors around the internet that Christian is planning to go back to WWE.
Already? It's less than a year. But whatever. I'd take it. Gangrel's going to come back.
Hey, I'll take it. Get Vampiro.
Who did you say was going to be a part of this group? Not Christian, the other person?
Damian Priest.
You said somebody else, though.
I see Alexa Bliss joining it.
Oh, with her psycho character still?
Yeah. A little bit modified, but I could see her
because
part of it.
WWE always has to have a dark character that has some sort of magic.
Yeah. But whatever. I mean, you had one. You still have one in Finn Balor.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
You had one. Now he's in AEW, Malachi Black, Aleister Black. He was supposed to be the next Undertaker. Before that, you had The Fiend, who was supposed to be the next Undertaker. Now you have Finn Balor, the demon Finn Balor, like the split personality, and they give that gimmick to Damian Priest.
Yeah, that's a heaven and hell kind of thing.
Yeah, and he looks like a weirdo.
He looks like someone who would hang out in an S&M bar in New York.
No, John, what did you say? I forgot. You said you called him. You said he looked like something particular. I can't remember what it was now. But
you're expecting me to remember that? I didn't write it. If I didn't write it down, I don't remember it.
If you didn't write it down, you didn't care enough to remember it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But it, like you said, this is probably match number 2 of the whole event.
Yeah,
like the second
whole
best
event. Yes.
Yeah. This was also the longest match on the card. Surprisingly, only 24 minutes. Everything was very short. A lot of short matches. So, like, total runtime of the entire WrestleMania, like matches in total, was only about an hour and a half. But yet it was a 4-hour show. How do you get a 4-hour show from an hour and a half of wrestling?
Promos.
So, the next match, I guess, who we should go. Edge went over.
Yeah. Which was surprising.
But
Edge went over. I hate the finish. I don't like the whole distraction, but I like the direction they're going to be going with this.
I agree with that. I think I like that. So was the next match the New Day?
Yeah. Though
so
that lasted a minute. Sure.
This is the New Day versus a Leprechaun and the Peaky Blinders. And no, this is the funny part. So many people are talking about Butch and like making fun of them for this character decision. And I feel like nobody realizes that this whole thing is to capitalize on the popularity of Peaky Blinders because it's the final season. And that's 100% what this is.
Because Pete Dunne is an established wrestler. Like even before he was in WWE, Pete Dunne was one of the hottest young wrestlers on the planet. Just like what they did with now his name is Gunther in NXT, Walter. Everybody knew who Walter was.
There was a lot of speculation that this was done to punish him, but a lot of people internally from WWE have come out saying that he likes it. He wanted this.
It's a good change of character for him. I could see if they can push him and if they will push him, I could, like you could see it already. There's going to be some dissension between him and Sheamus because he wanted to get involved in the match. And Sheamus is like trying to hold him back. No, you're going to get me disqualified, blah, blah, blah. I could see them doing a feud between him and Sheamus.
When this match started, we were kind of excited. Putty likes video games.
And then I sneezed and it was over.
Down. And then it ended. And Putty still liked video games.
And that was the only reason. Like
the Mario Brothers intro.
Yeah, that's exactly the only thing I was cared about this whole thing.
The only thing is I'm so done with the New Day. I'm tired of them.
Yeah, me too.
I really didn't know much about them.
I'm tired of them. I'm tired of Xavier Woods. I don't like Xavier Woods at all. Like, he's a jerk. He's that kid that you hate so much that you just want to smack him for being an idiot. That's Xavier Woods. Like, I'm going to blow my trombone in your face. Why? Why are you being a dick like that? You're supposed to be, and the thing is, you're supposed to be the face, but you act like a dick heel. To me, that's the definition of a bully.
They're all kind of annoying. I like Big E. I'm
Yeah.
sad what happened to him. I like that.
I
little
hope he
push
gets.
had.
I hope he gets better, and when he
Yeah.
comes back, he gets a huge push.
But the New Day lost, I think. I don't remember. This
Yeah,
was a
the New Day
terrible
lost
match.
in 1 minute and 40 seconds.
But this is my thing.
This is the match that they canceled on the first night.
But I think they also canceled it here. I think there was more to this, and they were like, "No, we're just gonna throw you in and end it."
Because
So
I think Edge and AJ ran a little longer than expected.
So you had the New Day, very popular, decent wrestlers against Leprechaun Man and Peaky Blinders. Also decent, like a decent group of guys. You skipped over this match to get to fucking Anal Theory and the kicker from the Indianapolis Colts. You skipped this match.
Here we go.
What are you thinking? Number one,
Literally the kicker. He really is.
what are you thinking? And I'm tired of this. They presented this like he's worked his whole life to be this wrestler. Dude, you were in the NFL for 9 years. You made almost $30 million. You funded a wrestling
You were kicker.
podcast.
You were punter of the
$28.
decade. You were
Yes.
special teams player of the
Stop
decade.
pretending like this is you've been worked so hard to get here. You've been rich for like 13 years, like pathetically rich.
You were
Like,
able to retire at such a young age because you made so much money.
he had a huge podcast. That's how he got into wrestling. But guess what? He had that podcast because he had all the money to back it.
Because he has what I like to call it his FU money.
Yeah,
Is basically
literally.
what he has.
Let's put it this way: when this match, the whole night, John was talking about, I'm going to hate this match. I'm going to hate this match. Here's the thing: I didn't have anything best in either one. The storyline, everything about it was just boring already. But the promos for it, every time I saw them, they're boring. Okay,
And this went 10 minutes, but it felt like half an hour.
Yes. Here's the thing: the only interesting part is actually what happens in the later half. And that just, for me, I will say, reconfirms one of my theories that I will be getting to. And that's, and again, John hates it because I kept
No, what you're saying for me personally ruined what they did the first night.
Well, no, let me explain.
I'm indifferent.
Well, is it okay if we just jump in there and talk about
go
it?
Okay.
ahead.
So Pat McAfee goes over Austin Theory in 10 minutes. While Vince McMahon the whole time's at ringside.
Look, I'm going to admit this right now. Just like we said about the other celebrity matches, he was surprisingly good, and this match was not that bad.
Because Pat McAfee has actually been training. Like
as much as I was upset and hated it, we ended up watching this match, and we were both like, "This." We expected it to be straight up garbage,
but he can actually
wasn't
do
that
some
bad.
moves. Yeah.
It was pretty
Like as
good.
far as the in-ring work goes, was fine.
Yes,
I just don't care for like
he
we
did
said.
he did a backflip off the top rope and landed. So good on him.
So I didn't make notes about this, but I want to bring this up because John said this, and it just it spiraled from me.
Oh no, this is when it got out of control.
Yeah. So here's the thing. First and foremost, when it comes to Vince, John said something, and it became a joke suddenly. We feel like that maybe like Shane McMahon is actually using the skin of Vince McMahon, and one day we're just going to see him rip it off, and Shane's
I love Buffalo Bill.
He looks like a meat puppet.
He does. He looks like he used to be a grape, and now he's a raisin. Like when you see
you know what's the movie Men in Black when the guy Vincent D'Onofrio is inside the guy's skin.
Just
That's
like,
how he looks like. He looks like he's being controlled by someone else inside of a body that doesn't like. It's so strange the way he moves. It's like a robot. He's 76 years old.
Yeah.
But see,
he chugged a beer and almost fell out of the ring on his head.
And then that whole thing too.
He's only 15 years older than Sting, and Sting went through a table with his head.
He broke the table with his head.
Twice.
But for those unaware, the man himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin, came out whenever he was fighting Pat.
Yeah, like the crowd popped huge for when they heard the glass shattering, and Vince is visibly.
Putty's going to go into this, and I'm going to let Putty do it. But I just want to point out something that I noticed today when I rewatched that moment. Okay. Austin Theory's music starts playing, and they both turn with shocked faces to the thing because someone botched it. They were supposed to play Stone Cold's music, and they played the wrong music.
They did play the wrong music,
and then they had to pretend like,
instead play Austin's music. They played the wrong Austin.
Yeah, and you could see it. They both looked shocked, and then they heard the music, and they're like, "Oh, this is the wrong song. Keep going."
Okay, Buddy, rant. You have now. Go.
Okay, so basically, Here's the thing. We talk about the whole Attitude Era. I feel like there's a connection where they're basically saying where we're basically Vince is like we got to go back to Attitude, and this is where we start connecting. We see Stone Cold come out. First off, he didn't botch the Stone Cold Stunner. It was literally Vince that literally dropped to his knees.
He's 76 years old.
I know.
He literally sat down while he's cradling Vince. Like literally sat down. He didn't give him a stunner. Like he sat down.
There was a few dope ass stunners that he dropped there. The Pat the kicker guy.
Mm-hmm. The kicker guy.
But expanding
he bounced. He sold huge for that.
But expanding upon it, the thing is, and this is where John really hates them, saying that I feel like they're going to start pushing the Attitude Era more, even with other situations. John, you had said it before. You said that the Stone Cold wanted to come back and he might be doing other matches. When you brought that to my head all of last night, I thought about something. If that happens, and again, if he's not, that's fine. But here's my thing. This is me predicting, and this is going into the last match as well. So I'm going to go into it. Here's my thing. I think that because there was a video that The Rock put out there stating that why hasn't he gone into the WWE Hall of Fame? He said he's not done with WWE. He said that he still was planning on coming back. I think that him and Vince are talking, and I think what's happening, and this is just what I feel, and I feel like this is what I would want coming back. The whole reign of Roman Reigns is such a big deal right now that someone needs to knock him down a peg. I feel like bringing someone that's Samoan, that's part of the family lineage, that kind of thing, because he says he's at the table, is going to bring back that Attitude Era. And capitalizing on the whole thing with Stone Cold is that you could also do that to where you can have the epic match that happened between the 19 years ago between Stone Cold and The Rock by doing that. But to bring it in, you could always have The Rock come in and bring down Roman Reigns a peg by saying, hey, this or that. I'm not saying that's going to happen. My point to the thing is I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to, with The Rock saying that on social media, and with Roman Reigns having the reign of having like capitalizing on being like the heel and everything, I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep people happy with like the Logan Paul scenario, the younger crowd, but they're trying to bring back old wrestlers that were huge, which Hogan, they're never going to bring back. The only person he has left is Stone Cold and The Rock. Those are the only two people. We bring back Stone Cold now. We possibly bring back Rock with the Roman Reigns thing. And then maybe down the line, if Stone Cold does want to have another match, they could do The Rock. I don't know. My point is that's the reason why I feel like the Attitude Era is trying to be hinted at, but not all the way through. They're just bringing back the big dogs, which would be The Rock and Stone Cold, and that eventually we might.
They're baiting the hook, but they're never going to cast the line.
I mean,
is what they're doing.
I feel like we're going to get a little nibble here and there of some.
But that's what I mean. They're baiting the hook, but they're never going to cast. Campo.
I'd like to say this. I'm not going to ever say no because if Putty could be right, but this is where, to me, there was a few issues. So Putty kept stating from night one about The Rock coming back, and he's not a Hall of Famer yet, whatever. But then there was a perfect example of that. WWE Hall of Famer Edge. He's already a Hall of Famer. Why does The Rock can't come back if he was in the Hall of Fame?
No, he said he doesn't want to. He does. He's literally stated.
Okay.
He doesn't want to go into the Hall of Fame until
I'm not saying he's done, but the logic behind this, when they've already brought The Rock back like 3 times, and every time all he's tried to do is put over Roman Reigns, doesn't make sense that he's going to come back to fight him in my eyes. And you just coincidentally found theory out of everything. His shirt's at head of the table. Putty's like, well, because he's wearing that shirt, The Rock's going to come back and get the head of the table. And
so when The Rock came back every time, this is kind of countering both your points. When The Rock came back originally with Roman Reigns was a face at the time. So that's why I think when Reigns won that Royal Rumble and they started booing him, and The Rock is just like kind of looking like what's wrong with you people kind of thing. You're booing me, basically. They weren't booing Rock. They were booing Roman because they don't want to see Roman. Right? Now that Roman is a heel, I can see, you're talking about our dynasty, you're talking about our heritage, and you're putting a black mark on our family history. Right?
Who you bring back?
Bring Rikishi back. The sons turn on their father kind of thing. And they put him down. And that would be like the final straw for The Rock. You're ruining our heritage. You're ruining our legacy. What are you doing? And that I could see leading to a match between Roman and Rock.
But this
And
is
Roman,
the thing.
but Roman going over though. Rock can't go over.
Yes,
Roman has to go
it's
over.
going to be a double thing here because Vince McMahon is never going to let The Rock not go over.
Unless The Rock says, don't put me over. If The Rock tells Vince, I don't want to go over, Vince will respect that because Vince has such a tremendous respect for that Samoan heritage and that Samoan.
This is my issue. Sorry.
Or they have a series of matches.
That's what I think will have to happen because what I was just going to say is there's no way in hell you're going to make that massive of a storyline and it's going to end with The Rock losing and then they're just going to forget that storyline and move forward with Roman Reigns. That will never happen. And The Rock doesn't have time for that.
Like by the time next WrestleMania comes around and Roman Reigns, like spoiler for a match that's going to happen next is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. You know what? Let's get into that match first, then we'll talk about our whole Rock and Roman theory. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. It wasn't that long of a match, and it wasn't that bad of a match.
It was fine
for what it was.
They hurt themselves a few times. Like actually, you could see it that like a couple of those spots, something kicked up
Lesnar
and like
was
hit
sweating
somebody.
like a motherfucker.
I just started laughing at Paul Heyman. You have to get up, my tribal chief. Like
that was annoying as hell, man. That was annoying as hell.
I started laughing, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, honestly.
And I love you, Brock.
And I asked John this, and he didn't know. Maybe you know it, JD. Is you know how the original tribal chief, like I forget his name, but he literally was a tribal chief.
High Chief Peter Maivia.
Yeah.
Rock's grandfather.
Is Roman Reigns just playing the character, or is he actually like? Is that the thing still?
I don't know if he's a high chief, but he's part of that Samoan dynasty.
Well, no, I know he is, but I'm saying, is he actually the high chief? Because the thing is
that I don't know. That
I don't feel like that's like a thing that would. I don't think any of them were actually a high chief.
I think Peter Maivia was.
Yeah, he's high chief of like his little tiny village, not of like the whole island of Samoa.
Well, no, I get that, but that's what I'm saying though. I don't know how that works. I'm not going to sit there and say no. That's the reason why I just wanted some.
That's a good point. You're not just going to say no. I get.
Yeah, Chief Jay Strongbow was not even indigenous.
Yeah, well, neither was Tatanka.
But that's my point. Like, I like that they're keeping that alive in the whole story.
But that's the thing. That's Vince though, and Vince like has that. And as he should, that Samoan dynasty is something that's going to live through the ages. Like so many great wrestlers and talents came out of that Samoan dynasty. Some not so great, but like, I mean, you can't deny like all the way from High Chief Peter Maivia to the head shrinkers of Afa and Sika. And like you have Roman's brother, the guy from the 3-minute warning there. And then you had Umaga, you had Yokozuna. These are all guys that were part of that dynasty. And that dynasty, I would say, would rival the Hart dynasty in terms of one of the greatest dynasties in all of wrestling.
Which is funny for Hart dynasty. Putty didn't even know about Natalia.
I didn't know.
It's Neidhart's daughter.
Yeah, we cleared that up during the match and everything. Yeah, so, but
she's the last active member of the Hart family.
But yeah, that's right. I mean, even like we were talking about it. When it comes to the Rock,
because nobody counts Teddy Hart.
Yeah, right. And even he's so physically fit now, but like now as well as he was back then, like he could come back and do, still probably do a lot of the stuff he could do back then.
The Rock has to get off because he would not pass the WWE's wellness policy.
Oh yeah. Well,
he's 3 times the size he was when he was actually in the WWE.
I know. I've seen that. I've noticed that. My point to the thing is
he's not roids.
I don't think so.
But it's HGH for sure.
He has as much money as Vince McMahon. That guy has money. He's getting training like nobody's business.
But that's
I really do think he takes his fitness much seriously.
I do. Yeah. He's very proud of it.
But here's the thing: like he hasn't been taking steroids back then, and it does attribute to what he does now. So it does appear like he does take steroids, but I really don't think he does take steroids.
Not steroids. I would say it's more of a natural, like
maybe supplements.
Like supplements and stuff like that. But which would still spike a drug test.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
No.
Really?
Supplements?
Yeah.
Some supplements would, yeah.
Depends on what it is.
Hell,
right?
Cold medication spikes your
Well, cold medication is what people drink nowadays to get high, so
yeah.
But again, we're bringing up the lineage, and the thing is, when it comes to any, like, if we look at wrestling outside of the actual sport itself and look at like the high profile of entertainment, The Rock has done things that like every other wrestler has tried to do. Hogan, everyone's tried to break away to become this huge celebrity, and literally people were even saying it back in the day, Rock would be the new Arnold Schwarzenegger when it comes to action movies and other movies in general, and he did exactly that. But for him to hold tight to Vince McMahon and say, I'm still going to be a part of this, but I want to do it when I'm ready. Vince, of course, is sitting there like, oh, yeah, you're so big that you would do no wrong in my eyes. And it's kind of like the whole thing. Like I saw an interview with John Cena. He literally said, I found out that John Cena, literally every movie he does, Vince gets a cut of it. And they're like, why would you allow him to do that? And he said, because he's the one that made me. It wouldn't be here doing these movies if it wasn't for Vince giving me a shot in the WWE. And that's my whole point with the whole thing with The Rock is he comes into the ring now. I when I heard the booing part, it kind of confused me, but then I was like, okay, it's for Roman Reigns, not The Rock. And that's the whole point. I don't ever see in a lifetime The Rock being booed unless he literally murders somebody. That's
not now. Previously, there was in the Attitude Era, we had those whole
for the
for
entire Attitude Era.
But but that's what I'm saying that's about a storyline and everything. I'm saying like now, even storyline wise, if you made him a heel, it would not stick.
Going back to the match, let's end that off.
Sorry.
Roman Reigns goes over. He is now your undisputed champion. He has both belts. I don't like that. I would have rather have this. I would have rather had this match end in a double DQ and nobody loses the belt, but nobody wins.
Yeah, but then would you want that to be your main event?
No.
But see, that's the reason why.
Because now there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Don't get me wrong. I agree with that 100%.
But they did protect Brock by having it be like a cheat that.
Yeah. I don't think they did.
Yeah, he pushed the rope to him and got him out of the hole.
I know that, but I don't really think they really protected him that well. Like
it wasn't well, but they made the effort to protect him.
Yeah. Brock is not that monster he was 2-3 years ago.
He looks real flabby. I'm not gonna lie.
He looks better now than he did like a couple
years ago. The dude's my age though. He's like 45.
Yeah, and you could.
Me and Brock are only like a week apart. Like literally.
Do you guys best friends or something?
Yeah, absolutely we are. Like Brock, we hang out in the forests of Saskatchewan every year.
They still made the effort to try and protect him, but whether or not it was good or not is up to anyone.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
I think Brock is done.
Enough job to protect them.
I think
Brock is done.
So.
Yeah, I think the reason they're doing this is because they brought a big man in to fight Roman Reigns. Now this makes Roman Reigns look like they're
trying to legitimize Roman because this is the second time now he's beaten Brock for that belt.
Exactly. So now it's basically like he's like, I'm the head of the table.
Last,
I'm on the
4 years legitimizing him. I'm done with it.
But that's my point. I think
the thing is, who do you have?
Who do you have? Yeah.
Drew McIntyre.
Why? He sucks too.
But that's my point. This is the reason why I'm stating what I've been stating. I feel like the reason they're doing this is because they want to bring him to the top where he's holding everything. And like someone's like, dude, he needs to be knocked down the peg. No one can knock him down the peg. And you can imagine what, like, let's say, imagine next year at Hollywood, which is literally perfect timing for a Hollywood person to come out.
I think that's where they're going to do that match. Agreed.
Yeah, like I can imagine like
you're gonna have a double. John Cena's gonna come out too.
Like he'll be standing there and he'll be like, no one could beat me, and I'm the head of the table, and I run this family. And then can you imagine?
This is my thing, and I don't want to take away from your idea, but you're so focused on this one thing, and it doesn't matter.
Because you know why I'm so focused on it? Because Roman Reigns has been holding this for so long that they're just, it's like, it's to the point now, like, I'm tired of it.
You sound like every wrestling fan, and you've only been watching it for like one event.
but that tells you,
that's what I'm saying. And I felt this way. I haven't even been watching it, and just hearing people talk about Roman Reigns, I cannot stand it.
But that's the reason why.
But they did a good job putting him over as a heel, and that's what he always should have been.
I think that has a lot to do with Paul Heyman.
Roman Reigns as a heel is a little too late.
I agree.
Because when they made Rock a heel and they were chanting the whole "Die Rock, he die," when he ended up turning face, it was so much bigger than when Roman Reigns turns face, because you know that's coming eventually. When he does turn face, it's not going to have the same impact.
That's the reason why I don't think it's
even as a heel.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is
Well, they also realized their mistake of never turning John Cena heel either.
yeah, but that's
Yeah,
my
but
point.
John
Though. I
Cena
think that's
just
what,
sucks. Anyway,
Da, da,
no,
da,
but,
da.
but here's like even with The Rock, like when they turned him face, even towards the end of his run, they were booing him.
Yeah, they were just tired of him.
They were tired of him. I mean, like it's not going to work for a face, and that's exactly what happened to Drew McIntyre.
But
by
see,
the way,
this goes back.
and
Mhm.
you guys said it yourself, like you guys are sick of the sword. Like there's elements in that character that you're just sick of.
But
I'm
these
just-
are dumb. These are McMahonisms that
Yes,
don't need
exactly.
to be
And
a
when
part
they
of this
put
character.
that
Exactly.
title on Big E, I thought, okay, finally we're moving in a different direction. Somebody fresh, somebody new. Let's see what he can do with the title. Let's move him forward. They can portray him as this big monster baby face, that like the gentle giant kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like
kind of like a
And they
bear
took it off
cat.
and they took the
bear
belt off of him, and they took the belt off him way too early.
yeah,
But-
like he should have had if he had a longer run with that belt, I don't think he would have ended up in that match with Ridge Holland, and he wouldn't have broken it. Like if ifs and buts are candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Buddy, what
But
do you got there?
Well, my point is I'm going to say this and just saying this out loud. Here's the thing: me coming back to WWE was based on actually AEW. You know what I mean? That was what brought me back to it and everything. And here's my thing: Vince, even though he's messed up a lot, he still has some intelligence in him when it comes to doing stuff. And I feel like what's happening is he's realized that okay, I'm losing my grip on wrestling now because other companies are coming in and do a better job. Okay.
Just
He
now,
needs to get well, no, but I'm saying
it's only been like that for the last 25 years. But
my point is though he has you know how he has to pre-plan everything even a year ahead. You know what I mean? Like within WrestleMania.
yeah,
Hollywood.
but then again, Vince tears up the scripts 10 minutes before the show goes to air.
I get that, and that might be again. He messed up a lot. My point, whole thing is that this is the only reason why I think Vince is thinking this way right now is he's at his last rope. He's basically saying I need to get at least one person that can bring the young crowd in and the old crowd in. There's nothing else I can do because they're trying with Logan Paul all this stuff. He's doing there was Stone Cold and then Logan Paul. These are two different things. Who is the one person in this world?
Say The Rock again.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm fucking
Campo's done. Campo's done. That's
Jay,
Mania 39, the main event. Campo versus Putty.
No, but do you see what I'm saying?
Probably be better than WWE.
I mean, I know
McMahon-
you guys hate me saying it, but I'm saying it as a fanboy. I'm saying it based on the facts.
It's
There's
not
so
that
many
anyone
people
thinks
who
you're
you
wrong.
are you
I
are
think
that
you're just
typical
reaching.
like and please don't take this the wrong way either. You are that typical fan who grew up in the Attitude Era. Like I was like that too up until recently, where
Well,
it's
that's
like
because, but you've watched it the whole time,
Right.
Where we didn't.
and it was also like I'm tired of the nostalgia. When Triple H brought in NXT for the first time, we were seeing all these great indie wrestlers that never got a chance. And now they're doing fantastic things. You're bringing in great wrestlers from, I want to see the in-ring
I have a
performance.
question.
I'm tired of the storylines.
Well-
I want to see good wrestling.
Okay,
And that's
what
what
about AJ
AEW is
Styles?
providing.
JD, actually, I'm going to stop you and just say this. This thing, but as I'm saying this and bring up the Rock thing, yes, I'll admit I'm excited. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. You brought me back because of AEW, and the original thing, like you said yourself, what brought me back was Sting and all that. But then look how it was about Jungle Boy. Them, I'm like, oh my god, I love them. That's my point. I play a game. I'm literally going to use Fortnite as a reference because of one reason. I hear constantly every night, I want the old map to come back. But when they bring back POIs or locations on the map that were old, they want them back. But then I noticed they only play it for a week and they're gone. This is exactly what's happening right now in WWE. They want to bring back the nostalgia to bring people in.
Mhm.
But they don't know how to do it right. The
They've
thing
been
is,
doing
hey,
the nostalgia thing though,
yes, but that's-
forever.
But I understand that.
Hulk
But
Hogan.
whole thing, yes, but that's what I'm saying. When you compare Hogan to even Stone Cold, there's no comparison. Stone Cold by far is better than Hogan will ever be when it comes to popularity, anything.
Are you, huh?
Well, but no, but think about what Hogan's
Hogan
done
in the
lately.
80s, there was nothing that
Right.
could touch Hogan in the 80s.
But look what Hogan's done lately. He's
He's
up-
90.
No, I'm not talking about.
He's crazy, too.
I'm talking. That's exact. Thank you. Cap just said it. He's done so many stupid shit that Vince does not want to have anything to do with him. But name
Buddy,
one
keep
person.
talking. I'm going to go take a leak.
But I mean, my point to the thing is again nostalgia. JD just said himself he wants to have the new stuff. People.
Does he?
No, I'm not saying Vince. I'm saying JD wants the new stuff.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
This is all
Yeah.
my point
Okay.
is. They've been doing nostalgia forever, and your version of bringing nostalgia back, The Rock, who's my favorite wrestler. So I'm not like saying no, I don't want him back, but they did the same thing to the kids from the 80s with Hogan through the 2000s, and they're going to do the same thing in the late 2020s. You're going to start seeing all those guys from the early 2010s come back.
Hogan had never reached the potential of celebrity status as The Rock has, and
Hulk Hogan was a movie star, and in the 80s there was only, in terms of massive productions in wrestling, there was only WWF. The other companies were nothing compared to them.
Right, but see, we have social media.
I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but if you compare the way that there was no social media in the 80s and to how big Hogan was, it's the same thing as how The Rock is now. And it's you bringing back The Rock is not going to change anything. It's just going to be a nostalgia trip, which is what JD's saying. He doesn't want any more nostalgia. Stop.
No, I agree. I agree. But again, I'm looking at it as if I was Vince McMahon, what would he do? I feel like that's what Vince is doing. He's literally in his own head being exactly like these kids that play the video game and playing all the time. They want the nostalgia back because he feels like it's going to work.
Yes, but
as a person, I know it's not.
He has that idea in his head because that's all he does.
But that's exactly no. But that's exactly it, Putty. The only reason why McMahon is considering that is because that's the only way he can go.
Yeah,
there's nobody else, but that's his fault too. His thing is so scripted that he doesn't allow.
I already know what you're talking about.
He doesn't allow any of those wrestlers to portray or to bring out the personality, which would connect with the fans, which would inevitably make stars.
To expand on your point, Caps, I got the perfect example for you. It's
Roman Reigns.
But not just that. Look at all these people in NXT. You had these superstars in NXT with Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Keith Lee, Adam Cole. When you bring them up to the main roster, there was nothing for them. They never got that push. They never got to express their personality. Whereas, and he kept going to the well too many times. Like, instead of promoting somebody like Finn Balor, let's bring back Goldberg.
But that's my point, though. He's so predictable. That's the reason why I feel like everything I'm saying is going to happen.
But what they're saying to you, Putty, is not that you're wrong in what you're saying. That they already expect that because that's all he does.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm trying to agree with JD. Think about it this way, and this is exactly what I'm saying. I'm only predicting things. I'm not. Even though I do love The Rock, and I would love to see him come back and bring Roman Reigns down a peg and everything, just because I don't like Roman Reigns that much. My whole thing is since I've watched WrestleMania, I still wish there was a way for me to watch way more AEW. And that's because you guys in particular brought me back by saying, hey, Sting's here, but you're going to love Jungle Boy. And then as soon as I started watching this,
because that's how you do nostalgia.
Exactly. But that's
in little bits and pieces. You don't put, like, for example, you killed the Bray Wyatt character when he lost to Goldberg.
But that's my point.
Because that's what the Saudi prince wanted.
But that's my point. I'm predicting things I think is going to happen. And for Vince, he thinks, oh, if I bring The Rock back, all the old fans and new fans will come because he's such a big movie star, and because of the whole Attitude Era, it's perfect. We can bring them all back. Then what's going to happen? It's going to come back. He's going to take down Roman Reigns or something like that. That's the storyline. Then it's going to be like, oh, wait, now we just hit a wall.
You know why he won't take down Roman Reigns? Because if he takes down Roman Reigns, he has to be on TV every night. Every Monday night, The Rock has to be there, and The Rock will not commit to that. That's why I don't like these part-timer legends. Like, at least with Goldberg, he can come back periodically, but someone like The Rock, he's a one and done.
Yeah, I agree.
He'll be able to do it, man. He will not be able to do it. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you said yourself, I feel like because Vince knows his time is gone, he doesn't care if he leaves it like that. I don't care. He doesn't care if he leaves it a cliffhanger. For him, he could be like, okay, The Rock is the lead. Okay, bye, done. I killed WWE.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because Vince is at that point where, like, I don't really fucking care no more. Like, I'm not winning anymore. I'm not winning. I took over WCW. I was the king. Now AEW's coming and going, oh, we're the better WCW. And he's like, oh, crap. So he's like, I'll go out there.
Just for, like, example, why Putty said I was going to get mad that he's talking about this. It's not even because I don't believe what he's saying. It's that because I could have muted it and walked away for 2 hours and came back and he would still be saying exactly what he's saying now.
When you have your own wrestlers telling you that some of the stuff that you're doing is not good, you got a problem.
Well, I mean, just look at the mass exodus of talent that happened over the last 2 years, not just with talent leaving or being let go, but talent letting their contracts expire because they don't want to be there anymore.
Exactly. When you got
like Cesaro, Cesaro, who's at the company for 10 years.
Best fucking wrestler there. To
right.
be honest with you.
And wasted, completely wasted.
Yeah. Like you got Seth Rollins telling Vince McMahon, listen, you just brought a new character in The Fiend, and I'm going up against him. Everybody loves him. Why the hell am I going over? You know what I mean? And he ends up going over, and it was one of the worst matches that they ever had. Like you got a star like Roman Reigns been telling you for years, listen, I am not over. It will be best if I just turn heel. Like sometimes the wrestlers are more in touch with the fan base than the owner himself.
And to be fair, and to like, let's give Roman Reigns a little credit. Since turning heel, this has been phenomenal. This has been some of his better work. Exactly. Yeah. He's been great. And the thing is, too, with Roman, we'll end it on this note, but it's lost my train of thought, but let's end this because this is going way off the rails. We're talking about too much nostalgia. Let's rate night 2 and give our best and worst match of the night. Campo, like we did the last episode, you go.
This was really a difficult one because I want to go way lower, but I'm going to say this was a 6.
Yeah. Okay. Best match and worst match.
Best match was AJ Styles versus Edge. The worst match was Bobby Eyelashes versus almost a wrestler.
Now, let's give out of both nights an overall rating. What would you give it?
I'll say
as a whole.
I want to say a 7. The first night was so strong. The first night was better than AEW Revolution, but the second night was so bad. I'm just gonna say they're even. It's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Putty.
Okay, so I'm agree on the number 6. Even kind of a 5 outside of the one little thing that again, even the Johnny Knoxville thing was it was fun, but it was like it was just not regular wrestling.
Yeah.
So it definitely lowers number. So I'll say like 5.5, 6. Best match of the night. I guess I agree. Edge and AJ Styles, even though I made so many jokes, or even Roman Reigns and Brock. I mean, again,
that wasn't a bad match either. To be fair,
yeah. So it's between those two. It's really tied in my eyes. Nothing was really good. Yeah. And then the worst match, probably the Bobby Lashley almost match in my eyes. That was just such a train wreck. Yeah. So there you go.
I'm with the rest of you guys. The Bobby Lashley match, someone who could do so much more. And he's being wasted with Edward James almost over there.
Nice.
That was definitely the worst match of the night. Even though the women's botch fest was pretty low down there too on the totem pole. Match of the night is AJ Styles for sure. Roman Reigns and Brock came close, but nowhere near that Edge and AJ Styles match. I'm in the consensus with you guys. I'm giving it about a 6, but overall, like both nights, I would give it a 7. It started off strong, and I use this analogy all the time. 2 nights is too much, and it's like you had this balloon that's expanding and it's building up, and then it's done and it deflates. What this suffered was it's too long, 8 hours. With only 8 hours total, plus another 4 hours on top of that pre-show with no wrestling. Out of 12 hours, you only had about, maybe 4 hours worth of wrestling?
I can't imagine what it's like if you were a double ticket holder in the bottom deck and you had to stand up for 8 hours, 2 days in a row in the same spot, drinking, getting hammered, and just standing there.
Yeah.
It must be horrible.
Originally, this show was only supposed to be one night. It wasn't supposed to be 2 nights. And they decided to make it the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. I know Caps loves that word because they said it only about 1,300 million times. But like I said, we suffer. I got wrestling fatigue with this one. It just kind of Brock Lesnar and Roman should have been a better match if I wasn't as tired and as burnt out.
Yeah.
But we had the same effect with Hangman versus Adam Cole. That night was just too long, and you got to this amazing match, and everyone was just like, I don't care anymore.
But watching it the next night, though, was so much better. And I gave it the credit it deserves. I'd actually, after watching it again, I'm placing that match actually higher on my.
I told you it was fantastic.
Yeah. I needed to watch it a second time with fresh eyes. But on that note, thanks again for joining, everyone. We'll see you on the next wrestling pay-per-view, I guess. And thanks again for joining us, and see you all next time. All right.